See you on the treble. Welcome back to another video. The Premier League is back. It absolutely is. And of course, because of that, we've got this wonderful man alongside me, Liam, aka Vizzy. As you can see, he's a massive Burnley fan, the biggest Burnley fan that I personally know. Liam, welcome to the
not
channel.
many.
Yeah, to be honest, you're the only Burnley fan. No, I know a few Burnley fans because I live up in Ramsbottom, so you bunch into some. But on the YouTube space, I would. By the way, I think Burnley Turf Moor is probably might even be closer to where I live than the Etihad now. I'm going to Google it right now because I live in Ramsbottom.
I think you said that last year. I think that you were saying because it was nearby that you may pop in for some Tuesday night games. Did you do that?
I didn't know, but that's because my wife got pregnant, so it didn't happen. Let me just double check.
Always the excuses, man.
Turf Moor's 31 minutes from my house. At the Etihad is 31 minutes. Look at that, man. So bang in the middle.
Yeah, but now search up Aki. Now search up Accrington Stanley, and they'll probably be closer.
Accrington Stanley. What's their stadium called? What's just
I don't know. I forgot.
22 miles, yeah, Accrington. Or Blackburn will be closer as well, actually, I reckon.
I just ignored them. You don't need to know.
No, but I love the fact, though, I'm equidistant between Vincent Kompany and the Etihad Stadium. It's always like it's meant to be in some ways.
Yeah,
it is. But it's good to have you on the channel anyway, again, man. Obviously, you've been on a few times. You were on before we spanked you in the FA Cup, I think. We don't
need to talk about that, man. It's fine, honestly.
But lessons learned and all that kind of stuff, I presume. And to be honest, I didn't know if you were going to do that. I think it came pretty obvious early on during that game that you were trying to play how we did, but obviously City were just better about it because they, better players and so on. But of course, that didn't really change anything for what was a pretty phenomenal season. And has that confidence, that season, has it been a summer of just contentment for Burnley fans, and has it been?
Well, it's been like a season of just pure, dreamland, honestly. Not just being back in the Premier League, but feels like we're just a completely different club. How people perceive us, the way that we're going in the markets. We got one of the most sought after, most exciting managers in the world right now. I feel like so many people in awe in terms of how fast he's got his job at Burnley. Not really what he's done, because what he's done alone is really impressive, but the speed that he's got it and completely changing a squad and a club that has been playing one certain style of football for about a decade under one manager to kind of go and fill in the shoes of Sean Dyche is something that I never thought anyone could possibly do. I thought that it was simply a job too big because all these players leaving, massive turnover, got to bring in a ton of new players, and it was all a big risk as a man never managed in England before. We were always told when he first joined, thinking, look, yeah, you can try to play this nice football and sign all these random kids from Belgium, but, Kompany coming to Championship, first time of asking to go and do well in it is too big of a job to ask for. And, well, that was our kind of mindset as well, thinking, okay, maybe playoff push. No one could have thought last year was going to happen. No one could have thought that. I don't think Kompany could either. And right now it's just seeing the potential of what these young players can do on the pitch and trying to build on top of that. And that is something that we have done, in my opinion, successfully in this window.
He's great, Vincent Kompany, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
It's just simple. He's class. I absolutely love him. And I love that he's been so successful as well. And once again, I feel like it's to do, as you said, to change a club's identity just like that. And like Burnley had such a strong identity already. They were obviously under Sean Dyche, just such a ridiculously pragmatic, but I think there's brilliance to that, but they were built in his own worldview. And to come in and change it so drastically, like the size of that job. I mean, I'm one of those people who won't ever put down the Championship because I believe it's one of the hardest leagues in world football. Like, I think the Championship's a phenomenal league. Like in terms of like the demand is, you've got just former Premier League clubs everywhere. Everyone desperate to get up towards where the big money is in the Premier League, and like to come in and destroy the Championship like he did, like absolutely dominate it. It's a momentous achievement. But having said that, it's going to be, it's such a step up. And I don't mean that in a patronising sense. It just is like, pretty much everyone in the Premier League can play good football. It's almost like if you're there, it's because you can play decent football. There may be one or two exceptions, but the quality these days that's littered throughout the Premier League. I mean, the managers as well at every team. There's like elite level managers and players. Everyone's got someone who probably could play in the Champions League. And that sounds crazy, but I mean, I don't mean a squad full of them, but, you've got, like, for example, City were linked to Paqueta today, and West Ham where they were struggling last season, and he's a
Yeah.
Champions League level player. You know, like they've got a few, and like there's always someone like that. And Southampton, you know, like they went down. Southampton went down, you know, and they've got Ward-Prowse, who absolutely could play for, you know, a middling European team and be a Champions League player as well. So, like, I guess the point I'm making is it's such a hard ask for Burnley this season. Do you think you've made the signings and you've got the squad to have an impact, or is it merely just a case of survival?
You know, like, I like to think that I'm quite a level-headed fan, and especially in the social space.
Yeah.
When you try to predict your own club, especially when you're speaking about it publicly, you try to be a bit careful because you don't want to come across as too biased and just kind of overzealous in yourself and your club. And I think I'm being quite reasonable because I'm saying like 14th, 15th. I think that's pretty reasonable for us. Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing a lot of people say 12th for us, like, you know, neutral fans like 12th, 11th, 9th. And I'm looking at it thinking, you know, I'm getting a bit concerned now. Maybe people are overrating us now a little bit because we played this exciting football, got some good, talented young players, tricky wingers, pass off the back. It's all the kind of tick-list of what you want for a club. And I'm getting a bit of a, you know, back in the Euros when like everyone was saying Turkey as the dark horse.
Yeah.
I'm getting a bit concerned that maybe that could be happening here because I don't want to get too you know, over the top here with, you know, the expectations at Burnley. Like, look, the main thing is to stay up. That's the main important thing here. And I think with what we've done in the market, we've not lost any players, unlike Sheffield United for some goddamn reason. Don't know why. It's mental over there. We've improved our squad in almost every single area, other than currently left back. We still need to get
you lost
Ian
Maatsen, haven't you? He's gone back to Chelsea. Is that right?
Yeah, it's just left back that we're still having to get a new player in, but we kind of could be doing a little bit of City here, that we have basically like centre backs that are all very modern centre backs that can play as full backs, and they've done that in pre-season as well. That we still have them playing inverted, so we have like a 3-2-4-1 formation across the entirety of pre-season. So it looks like we're still going to be maintaining that style of play and still trying to perform that in the Premier League. And what we saw against you back in the FA Cup, that in that first 30 minutes, I almost cried, mate, when I was watching that game. Now, we were actually out-pressing City at times. We were passing it through you guys from the back pretty successfully for that entire like first 20, 30 minutes until Erling Haaland did Erling Haaland things, and then it all kind of went downhill from there. But that told me that whatever we do, if we went up, which of course we now have, that we are going to be playing brave football, passing out to the back, and we're going to keep to our philosophy. We're not going to adapt it too much. That could be a good thing or a bad thing. People may be concerned about, let's say, what Daniel Farke did at Norwich, that it could be a bit of a naive sort of style to do because maybe you haven't got the right quality. And I guess I got to trust Vincent Kompany's best judgment on what you think is the best way to counteract this season. The main thing is that we got Vincent Kompany, who, as you know, he understands the Premier League, and he's not really a dumb person either. He's won the league, was it 4 times for you guys? Yeah. You know, so
speaks like 5 languages and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I have faith that he's got the right plan in mind, and we've improved already on our team for last year. We're also tying down some of our young talent as well, like Anna Saruri, like Manuel Benson, literally 2 minutes ago, just confirmed a new contract extension. These are big things for us, so everything is going in the right direction, very positive energy, and I think that is really key for us right now.
Have you replaced, obviously I know Ian Maatsen's gone for Chelsea, Howard Bellis is not returned, obviously he had a good loan at you guys. Anyone else disappeared? Anyone else gone? Was it just those 2 loanies that are gone?
Well, there's Nathan Teller, of course, was
Teller as well,
last year. We're still around him, but I think that ship has sailed, unfortunately. Southampton have a valuation, I think, like near like 20 million, and I just don't think we are accepting that. I think we think that's too much. So we're looking elsewhere. We've been linked to a ton of different wingers. We've pretty much signed Sander Berger, pretty much confirmed, from Sheffield United.
How'd you feel about that?
Like Aaron Ramsey as well from Aston Villa as well, which is a good young kid, which should also be a good little coup for us as well on a permanent. We've signed a lot of players that are around the same type of recruitment policy of just young, hungry players that, other than Berg, I guess he's more experienced and he's 25. So he's more older than all the other signings. The rest are all like around 21, 22.
He's only 25 as well, you know what I mean? It's like he's hardly washed, is he? Let's be honest.
Exactly. And that's a perfect age, that what we need him for right now. So it's just sign these young players that in a year or 2 time can triple, quadruple in value, and then sell them on, and then the cycle continues, because that's how clubs like us like a Brighton, for example, that's how we can really run, by trying to make money that way and to build our club in a more natural fashion. So that's the policy that we're going for now, and it's working.
Yeah, and I do trust as well. You're saying I feel like Vinny, he understands. I think more than anything, what Vinny's pretty good at, which I think City are good at these days as well, is they sign the right kind of people. And as much as quality is important, like you have to sign the right kind of people that want it, don't you? And like I think he's obviously such a good judge of a person, and that comes from his intelligence and comes from his understanding of the dynamic. Because he's literally he was captain for a reason. You know, he understands the group. He understands everyone pushing forward to drive towards the same goal. And I do think Burnley are blessed in that way, that they've got a guy.
We've got God.
I love us,
yeah. Our God. Like
it's just like he literally is. The guy is like borderline genius, like super intelligent man, incredibly diplomatic, smart, well spoken,
speaks 18 languages or something.
Terrifying. You know, like a monster of a man, like absolutely huge and intimidating. At the same time, just like he can put his money where his mouth is as well, because he's achieved it. You know, like, and he learned from the best manager potentially in the history of the game. So it's one of those things where like his pedigree is like, you're gonna follow him, aren't you? You're gonna follow him. So I feel like it's weird. Like I do feel like there is no way that Burnley aren't gonna have to fight for this. There's literally zero way, because he does, and he's on the sideline. And the only thing is really is obviously, it's just obviously you said you sign a lot of younger players. Like, do you think you need a bit more experience potentially, or are you quite relaxed about that?
That's one of the only sort of things that I'm looking at, thinking I would like some sort of like little more experience in there. I guess Nathan Redmond kind of counts as that. We've signed him in. That could be good for the younger wingers that we have, that he can kind of like mentor them in some way. Jack Cork is still there at the club. Josh Brownell, who's like 28, but he's pretty much our oldest, one of our oldest players as well. You know, it's kind of mad how fast things have changed. Ashley Barnes, of course, moved on. So yeah, that's one sort of thing that people maybe be a bit concerned of. That is still a young team. It's a hungry team, though, and of course that can go either one or two ways. Like Arsenal, for example, youngest team in the league, they didn't shut up about that, and of course they kicked on because they had a ton of players that were all hungry and willing to prove a point. And of course we saw how it ended last year. They couldn't get over the line, and maybe that lack of experience could be the reason why they didn't do what they were hoping to do, which is to win the league. I think with what we have right now, it's I forget a left back. I think it's a 10 out of 10 window personally. I really like the business that we've done, and the main thing for us is just having good depth in all areas. So we've not really got like specific positions mapped out for specific players. For the most part, we really don't. Like, anyone can play anywhere. Most centre backs can play as a fullback and play inverted in possession. Any winger that we have can also play as a 10 or number 9. We're playing wingers as centre mids now. Like Gudmundsson plays centre mid.
It sounds so familiar.
They literally that's the thing. We're signing players that are very versatile and mendable, that they can go in any role. That means no matter what happens, due to injury, due to form, someone else can come in and make it their own and make something happen in the game. And I think that is the way that is. Because let's say for Brentford, they've got Tony. For Mitro, they got not for Mitro. For Fulham, they've got Mitro. They've got these star players. I don't think we're going to have a star player. We're not going to have one guy that I think can score 15 goals plus. We're going to have about five, 6 players that can all score 6, 8, 9, then a 7, then a 10, and that everyone can just chip in together. And that's how I see the season going for us. Like Anduni, Switzerland, international, and I think he's got 5 and 5 in qualifiers for Switzerland. He's a young kid. He's really good. And that I think he's going to have a big part this year as well. Benson, Zaruri, young lads as well that can prove something, like Koleosho, Luke. We're linked to a bunch of other players as well. Foster, I think, has something to prove. It's going to be a really interesting. By the way, like if you do play FPL, just don't put any of our players in, because I just don't know if we're going to have a team that's going to be a consistent team this year. That's the way that I see it.
Well, I still have to do my team actually, so I'll bear that in mind. It's something I'm going to do. It'll be tomorrow, I reckon. Now it's going to be last minute, but I'm looking at. I hadn't heard of that Dooney fella until I remember I saw you tweeting about him. Like, because obviously, I have to fair, I'm not paying attention to FC Basel. In general, he's only 22.
I don't blame you. I mean, I didn't know who he was until we signed him either.
You've got him. I forgot you signed James Trafford as well, didn't you? Like, no, he's a confident lad, James Trafford. Like, he really is. Has he been playing in the friendlies for you, so preseason? He's
played 2, and he's a lot of fans are thinking maybe he's a bit too like raw right now.
Did he have a slow start in friendlies then?
he got lobbed from the halfway line in his first game, I think.
So did Onana, to be fair, you know. He's a Champions League goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think the other one as well, like a cross came in for the back post and he came out for it and just completely missed the ball and that went in. So I think that he's still a young lad. And I think that, you know, for Premier League, that 𝙑𝙬𝙨, it took our time. It took our, I mean, 𝙑𝙬𝙨 came from you guys as well. City Academy, amazing with the ball to feet. And 𝙑𝙬𝙨 is so silky with his ball with his in possession. He's actually, I think he's probably our best passing the ball now in our entire
I remember
team.
his debut for under 18s, and I used to write City like academy blogs back then, and I thought 𝙑𝙬𝙨 was brilliant. Like he was like he had I thought he was like as an elite level prospect when he was younger, and he had a weird few years where he sort of went off the rails a tiny bit, you know, like with his career, and whatever reason he didn't kick on, and he had a couple of bad loans, and he's another one, by the way. So you talk about like Trafford there, but I remember he had a loan somewhere. I can't remember who it was now, but it was Forest, yeah, but it was horrific. Like they hated him, you know, like they thought he was terrible, and for whatever reason, like you can just have a couple of bad games and like your reputation could be set there. But I'm really glad he's found his confidence again, because I always thought he was a genuinely top class talent. He was a bit mad. I remember he was being 18 and he was like almost like starting fights as a goalkeeper. I was like, what are you doing, man? But he was great fun to watch. But he was like brilliant ball playing, ridiculously athletic shot stopper, and I remember being like 17, 18 thinking, oh my god, we've got a genuine Edison contender here. But then obviously it didn't happen and so on. But yeah, he's back at you guys now, and like him and Trafford as well. James Trafford I spoke to a few times as well personally. Like he's a lovely lad, supremely confident, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by him in time. Fingers crossed anyway.
I've got a lot of faith in him. It's just I guess we've got two players that are both like, it's going to be very competitive there, and that's what you want. That's what you want in your team. You want competition.
You do want it, and like especially with young players, I think they need that competition as well, because 𝙑𝙬𝙨 is only what, mid-20s, early 20s, something like that.
He's still relatively young. Like it's good things to have.
Absolutely. Now, of course, you're chatting to me because we play each other on Friday. Is City at home for you a good thing or a bad thing, given the context of being the first game back in the Premier League?
Yeah, I see it as a good thing. And I see it as a good thing because I think the best time to play it in... Well, yeah, number one, to get out of the way no matter what happens. And also, number two, you want to play the top sides early on as soon as possible, because they aren't in their full flow, they aren't fully ready. And especially for you guys as well, that you guys, you know, I don't think De Bruyne is fully 100%. You've lost a few players as well, that you have to get these new system back in motion again. And I think with City, you guys have never been known as a team that fully just blow teams for the first 10 games and win each game. You guys have kind of always been a team that by the time you have a few wobbles and thinking, oh, maybe they won't do that well, and then next thing you know, you win 15,000 games in a row. Okay, and that's what he did last year.
Pep takes time. So, he just does. His systems, like I've always compare it to, like, you know, you go on a bike for the first time in ages and you're a little bit like, oh god, I'm a little bit wobbly, and you take every corner a bit slowly but then after about half an hour on a bike, you're like just doing wheelies again or whatever. I always feel like Pep's football is a bit like that, where it's like the play is so intricate that it's just a bit like they go on holiday, they come back to it, and it's just a little bit slow to get going. And then Pep looks at him for several games and goes, "You're not doing this right." And he works out the patterns, and then eventually they go, "Oh yeah, I know what you mean now," and it clicks. And then all of a sudden, it just makes sense. If you're playing the most complicated football, it's gonna take a little bit longer to get going, isn't it? You know, and like
exactly,
yeah, and like I think I'm relaxed with it because like there's a billion examples of it. So, but you're right, as you were saying, sorry, that you know it is probably the best time to play us, isn't it?
Yeah, and of course as well that for me the season starts on the 27th, because our second game of the year against Luton away is cancelled, so we actually missed the second game, second week completely. So we play you, then we have like another week break basically, and then we got Villa at home. So basically, like for me, this is almost like a super pre-season friendly almost. That like if you lose, okay, no one really cares.
How come that game's cancelled?
Because Luton Town, they're kind of a world. They've still got some modifications. Like they're still going to improve the stadium to suit the Premier League regulations. So like it's done. It still won't be complete by the time we play them. So the game's been completely cancelled.
Just like switch the legs around.
Everyone said that. Apparently it's because of like logistical reasons. Of like I think apparently Blackburn plays in the same game, even though I don't know why that makes any sense. But maybe that's just a rumor. But yeah,
Blackburn for some reason, are they?
They're not. We're a 15-minute drive, but yeah, but I don't know like, the full
Blackburn
reason.
Police and Burnley Police aren't going to be exactly the same, are they? You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't really fully know the reason why. It's rumours, but yeah, either way, we're not playing that second match week, so we play Villa on match week 3. And for me, this is just a great way just to properly go for it. everyone's in good energy, everyone's got good vibes, and from what we saw last year, we're going to go for it. We're going to play out from the back, try and play through the lines, and just go for it. And we've got technically nothing to lose, because if we lose, okay, cool, our season will not be dependent on if we beat City at home. And I think now is the best time to really play you guys anyway. So, I mean, in my mind, I still think we have absolutely no chance. And because I'm an idiot and I'm a football fan, that each day that goes closer to the game, I'm thinking, you know what, maybe now it's that moment. And
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think it's stupid to feel that way. Like, I don't think it is.
Every football fan thinks. I thought that last
what's
time.
What's the point? Like, well, you're a Premier League side. You can beat us. You can beat another Premier League side. That is as simple as that. Look, obviously, everything is saying that all logic points towards, City potentially, but football isn't all logic. Football's a stupid sport, and people are fundamentally stupid. We crazy things happen in football. Like Haaland could just be still a bit ropey and miss 2-3, and then. And
you say that, but then
Norwich
I thought
have a
that
blinder
when we played against last and we lost 6-0. So you see, that's a bit of a problem there.
Oh, exactly. But then if you played Burnley 100 times, Burnley going to win some of them, because this is how it is, and it could be that I'm not saying you're wrong, but every football is unpredictable. And the first game of the season at Turf Moor, I don't know, man. It could be fun, and a Friday night as well. That's going to be interesting, isn't it? Look, I do.
Oh yeah, the storylines. Sky couldn't have planned it any better. They probably did plan it, to be fair, because I honestly, when I saw the fixtures come out, I laughed. When I saw us face City first. It's like, I'm just happy it's at home, so he stands some sort of chance maybe. Because if it was away, I just wouldn't even watch it.
I think it's good. I'm not trying to patronise, but I reckon if I was in your shoes, I'd want it just because it's like the ultimate curtain raiser. At home to the treble winners. Vincent Kompany angle as well. The link there. You got two young goalkeepers from Manchester City. There's so many ties. It's a relatively not local game, but you know what I mean. It's like the same Northwest team.
We don't get like a derby game.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories around it, and as you said, you just get it out of the way. It's like, if you lose, who cares? Who really cares? Unless it's so humiliating. Which it couldn't be. It's not going to be like 11-0, you know what I mean? There's no chance of that. Even if you lost 5-0, who cares? Like no one's going to judge Burnley for losing 5-0 to the treble winners, it's just, it's like, the new side. And then all you got to do is win your game after that, or, and then I think it's good for Burnley. Like, I think I hope you don't enjoy it, though. I think it's going to be horrible.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I'm scared, actually. Now, more I think about it, I'm a bit nervous, because I don't know why I shouldn't be, but
the thing is, like, you guys just lost the Community Shield, and I feel like that's just going to make you guys more angry.
When
I saw you guys lost, when I saw the deflection going, I was like, okay, we're screwed. I was convinced of it.
It was the interview after with Pep when he was there, like, you lost 3 in a row. I was feeling. He went, yeah, guys, because we.
You want to know why?
3 Premier Leagues. Do you know why? Because we won 3 Premier Leagues.
I love that. He's a psychopath, and I love him. Honestly,
I love it. I love that kind of passive aggression, but with a smile on his face. Like, at that point, once you've awoken the beast, stuff's going down, and that's why, basically, now all week in training has been like banging heads together, going making sure you're ready, and I
is De Bruyne gonna start quickly? Is he gonna start?
I would guess so. Yeah, he came on. He was good again.
I thought he'd be still missing for this game.
Nah, he played against. He got the assist against Arsenal, and he played like 35, 40 minutes.
He didn't start though, did he? So I thought maybe there's still a chance.
He's going to be ready, I reckon. I think because he looked good as well when he came on. He missed his penalty, but he was genuinely good. So I think he's ready. I think he'll start this game. And even not, the team. I don't know if Vardy will start. I'll be interested to see how he goes. I wouldn't.
I forgot about him as well, man.
He probably won't start away at Turf Moor for his first game. I mean, there's baptisms of fire. Well, I guess Burnley away is not what
Turf Moor is not the same way that you guys think it is, though.
Yeah,
exactly. It's not going to be a massive aggressive fight to the death. Like, it's not going to be. We're going to be going for it, but we're going to try and play off the park, which is going to be impossible to do. So it's going to be interesting to see our sort of plan of action for this game, really.
So obviously, I won't ask you to do a score prediction unless you want to. Do you want to? Are you not bothered? Do you want to? Or
I could do a Burnley one. I could do a biased one and a neutral one if you want me to, I guess.
Go for it. Yeah, go on then. What's your biased one and what's your neutral one?
I mean, I guess biased one. I mean, for me, bias is still like a draw is the best case scenario. So I'll take a 1-1.
I love football.
Yes, I mean, it's City, but we haven't been awful at home to City, even back in the past. Like, it's usually like draw 50-50, I think. Draw, loss 50-50. We got one win back in 14-15. And that's it against you guys ever in Premier League history anyway. So yeah, I think a draw is more than possible. It's just in terms of if you guys are fully in your rhythm, and we've been in pre-season since like early June. Like,
yeah, you were back before our Champions League final. I remember it was wild.
We were back like not even 3 weeks after the season ended.
It was literally before the Champions League final. I remember seeing they're back. It's like Burnley are back. I was like, we're playing Champions League final tomorrow. It was wild. It was absolutely wild. Do you think the players are just tired of that? Like, what the hell are we doing back so early?
I don't know. Vincent Kompany's got his own reasons behind all of it. And to be fair, if you manage as Vincent Kompany, I don't think they really mind too much. I think they just have, he demands respect from everyone. So I think that,
well, he got them their promotion bonus as well, didn't he? So let's be honest.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so fair enough. Do you fancy doing as well? Like, this is very ad hoc, and I really thought about it. What's your like predictions for like top 4 relegation as well? Have you thought about that yet?
Yeah, I mean, I've done my videos on that, so like I've had a think through it. Which one do you want first?
Go on. What's your relegations?
Relegations. I put in. I think the thing is like. It feels kind of annoying now because I made these predictions like 2-3 weeks ago, and back then it looked a bit kind of mad. And now
you can change it if you want to. I'm not bothered. Obviously.
I know, but now it looks more obvious, so it just looks I'm just copying everyone else. But like I put Sheffield United to be bottom, just because I feel like this is before they sold NJ, but I just feel like they just aren't fully. They're not going to back the team as much financially on the pitch. I don't really rate the manager too much, and they just aren't really that much of a great side for me, in my opinion. They're a bit like Burnley of old almost, and they have, especially now with NJ gone, they're now missing a star factor. They've not really got great depth because they've lost half of their good team last year, like McAtee, for example, like Doyle, for example. They're no longer there, so it's a bit of a concern. Luton, I think I put 19th because they are going to go for it, but I don't think anyone actually expects them to stay up. But they're going to have a go. They're going to have a laugh, and I don't think they really mind. And they're just going to set up for the championship. And then 18th, I put in Wolves just because this was even before their manager left. But I can't see where the goals are coming from. We got much worse than last year. Neves is a massive miss.
It's just an implosion, isn't it? Wolves, crazy implosion.
It's crazy right now.
Self-inflicted as well. It feels that way, doesn't it?
Well, they spent so much money last year that they just FFP this year and they're just completely screwed. So it's a really ropey time of there right now. And I think Everton I put them 17th. Like, I think it could be between Everton and Wolves. Like, I just cannot see where the goals are coming from. I can't see the creativity. And Everton are just doing the definition of insanity. They're doing the same thing every year and just expecting different results, honestly. And then top 4, I mean, you guys win the league. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind for that. Like, I'm not just saying that because you're here.
No, I believe you that you believe that you're the best team in the league, which is nice to say out loud. But
it's not really hard to really think. Like, everyone's saying, oh, but you guys have lost Mahrez and Gundogan, and for me, you guys don't let anyone go until unless you got a reason to. Like, you do not let anyone go unless you got a plan. You plan out that you let them go. In my opinion, no one leaves you guys. You guys let them go, and I think you got a plan for absolutely everything. And no matter how good other teams get, it's City, and it sounds a bit more boring because I guess people do want a new winner. And if I had to pick, what would I rather have? I would rather have personally Arsenal win because I want to see a different team win. As a competitive standpoint, I want to see it go all the way to the end. I want a new winner. I think that's best for everyone involved. Unless if you're a City fan, obviously, just to see a different team win it and to make it look a lot more competitive. But if I got to put money on it, I'm putting City because as long as Pep stays, I think you guys still dominate. And you kind of have the best player in the world in Haaland there, or De Bruyne there. Take your pick. So, I can't see anything really change there. And then Arsenal second, Liverpool third, United fourth.
Okay, interesting. I think I'm going to do my season preview. I've done it yet. I'm doing it later. But I think I've got Liverpool. I think Liverpool are going to be back this year. They only need a midfielder now. They need a defensive midfielder. If you get one, absolutely. It's so annoying when you do predictions because you're like, I wish you could do a season preview on September the 1st instead. Like when like the whole squad settled because it changes everything, doesn't it? Like I might revisit mine a couple of months in because it's not the full picture, so it's really hard.
Yeah,
to
but
say,
no one cares by then. Or it's almost like, yeah, but you're cheating because you already see a couple of games, so people just find out it's cheating by then.
It's like it's just I don't know you're just judging it by 3/4 of the picture, aren't you? So it's one of those things where you don't know. You need to see the whole squad because obviously if Liverpool don't sign a defensive midfielder, well, it's a different season for them than they do. Liam, Vizzy, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for joining me on this channel. I genuinely, hand on heart, wish Burnley all the best this season because I want them to stay up because it's ace, because Vinny Company's there and because you play good football and because, to many people's eyes, Burnley are likeable again. Which is
they actually are. I mean, do you guys see us actually like being like we're on the table? What do you actually see us being?
I obviously don't know much about the players you signed because they're all sort of like, random names to me. Like I can't tell you much about. Obviously I know Sanderberg, but I couldn't tell you much about Jordan Bayer or Amdouni or I haven't really watched either Dara or O'Shea and people like that. So they're not names I'm massively familiar with. So I don't know how well they're going to do, but I do think usually teams that play good football and have a plan, they tend to survive. And I don't really see Burnley going down. I just don't. I think they're going to play football that's just more focused than an Everton, for example. More focused, and Wolves are going to implode, and Luton are just not good enough. Sheffield United, you're better than them, and I feel like Sheffield United and Luton are almost dead certs. And then do I see you being better than one other team in the Premier League? Yeah, Forest, example. Do I see you being better than one other team in the Premier League? Yeah, absolutely. Maybe a few other teams. So bearing that in mind, the logic inside my head says lower mid-table minimum, like 13, 14, something like that,
everyone's saying that, which is
I think it's sort of logical though. That's the thing is I can see you finishing above Forest because I think there's more of a plan there. Forest signed more players in the squad last season and they'll go, oh, it worked, but I thought that was a little bit lucky if anything because it was wild. They were just signing anyone and they got lucky, and they have to it was a bit crazy and I think genuinely the teams that have run well tend to do better. They just do. It's why Brighton are doing so well, and it's why you've done so well in the Vince Company because that man, there's all the hallmarks here of the Manchester City way, and City are the reason. City obviously have the money, but they're also as good as they are because they're the best run club in the Premier League. They just sign the right players, and they have the best manager, and they get it right, and it's. I think obviously Burnley haven't got the same budget, but they've got a similar principle, and because of Vince Company, and Vince Company will keep you up. I've got no doubt whatsoever. I mean,
I like to think the same. I just can't say it.
I can't see you below 15th. I just can't see you below 15th. No chance. I don't. Who knows, man? Let's revisit it in a couple of months. But no, I think you'll stay up. I think you'll be fine as well. I don't think you'll be close to relegation. Even if it's just like 14th, 15th, I still think you'll be 10, 15 points clear of it. I think you'll be all right. So we will see.
Yeah, I think no matter what happens, we're going to be playing some good football, and I think that's going to be the main thing for Burnley fans. That if you stay up and play good football, we'll take that compared to because back in the other seasons with Sean Dyche, we love Sean Dyche to bits. Don't get it twisted, but it felt like such the same old team, same old lineup, same old tactics, same old games. It was always 0-0 at half time and hope to score for set piece in the 60th and then hold on for 1-0 win, and that was just tactic for 3 years in a row. So just there's new life back in the club. I think we've sold out already 12, 13 sellouts home games already before the season even started. So people always just selling out games just anything Fulham at home, sold out because people just want to see us play again, and people want to see us play in the Premier League and play good football. That was never a thing even when we were in the Premier League all those years ago. For the big games, United, because usually most people that were there were actually United fans, or Liverpool fans, for example. But the energy, you could feel it, and I think that has a lot of weight to it. So
that helps as well. That helps. Look, it's a club reinvigorated, and I think that energy is enough to keep you up there. Because the thing is as well, Burnley have been a Premier League club for such a long time now that there's no feeling of I don't think there's any imposter syndrome with Burnley being back in the Premier League. Because people see them, as a Premier League stature club. Even if the football
I take that completely.
Well, it's like association mentally. I'm not people go Burnley. You wouldn't. It's not wild to go Premier League because you were there for so long. So it's one of the things. I know you've been a bit slightly. You've been down there as well, but. No one's bothered about Burnley being in the Premier League in terms of what are they doing here? It's Burnley. They've been in the Premier League for a while, so it's one of those things where I don't feel like it would be crazy if you stayed up because people just wouldn't be surprised because they were there. Even if Sean Dyche football was a bit naff, he did make you a Premier League club for a while. Naff. Yeah, I'm being a bit polite there. I reckon.
Yeah,
it was piss poor. It was terrible, but it was effective for a while and. And as a result, this is why you're back where you are right now. So, but anyway, mate, it's been a pleasure chatting to you as always. People, of course, you know where to find Izzy. I'll put his links in the chat and all that kind of stuff to be a card on screen. Mate, thank you very much for coming on the channel.
Absolute pleasure. Just if you beat us, just make it respectful. That's all I ask, really. You know, don't completely kill our spirit, and then I'll be happy with that. And then our season starts on the 27th.
I'll text Pet for you, pal. Right, in a bit, guys. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Catch you all soon. In a bit, see you win the treble. Yeah.
That must be the most insane thing to think that City won the treble, man. That's so insane.